Hi everybody, I'm Spike Brave, and I'd like to give you a look at the energy weapons that are available to Inner Sphere BattleMechs at Mechwarrior Online. Currently in Mechwarrior Online there are two technology stacks. There are Inner Sphere Mechs and Clan Mechs, and their weapons work a little bit differently. So I thought I'd come out here and do a brief show and tell about the energy weapons that are available to Inner Sphere BattleMechs to start off. As you can see, I'm out in the testing grounds and I've got a commando targeted. I'd like to start out by saying this Battlemaster I've set up with almost every energy weapon in the game. I can't find a mech that has enough hard points to equip them all, so I'm going to flip between two mechs as I do this. But for this tutorial, this mech is not optimized for combat. If you see what I've got loaded out, I would not recommend taking this into an actual battle. You would probably not do very well. So that being said, let's talk about PPCs first. That means PPC actually stands for Particle Projector Cannon. And in the lore, what these are cannons that shoot man-made lightning. There's a regular PPC and an ER PPC. The ER stands for Extended Range. And if we look over in the corner there on the right-hand side, we have my weapons loadout display. And you can see the two PPCs are mounted in my arm. That's what that little circle means. It's in my arm. And if we look at my targeting reticle on the center of the screen here, as I move my arms, that little circle moves. So that's where those PPCs are pointed. Everything else is mounted in my chest, and that's that plus in the center. So if I were to fire now, my PPCs would shoot down, and my chest weapons would shoot down, and my chest weapons would be in a little bit higher location. So keep that in mind as you're firing your weapons. I don't think a lot of players understand that when they're new, so I just thought I'd show you that real quick. And then when you're reading this, there's some really important information available. So you can see the ranges there on the right hand side. Your PPC has a range of 810 meters, my PPC has a range of 540 meters, and both of those are green. Now, as you can see, my small laser is yellow. What that is telling me is that I'm inside the effective range of the PPCs, but I'm outside the effective range of the small laser. What'll happen is almost every weapon in the game will shoot out to twice as far as the listed number here. So my small laser can actually go out to 200 meters. But beyond 100 meters, it starts doing less and less damage until at 201 meters, it does no damage. There is an exception to this rule that I just found out as I was making this video. The Flamer goes 90 meters, and that's all. It doesn't have that range extension like all the other weapons in the game do. So I thought I'd mention that here as well. So let's start shooting some weapons and we'll see how they work. So first of all, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to try to take this commando's arm off. So, targeted on his arm, I'm going to shoot my regular PPC. So you can see my heat went up, and I did some damage, and it's a lightning bolt. So there we go, that's the PPC. Something to keep in mind when you're working with PPCs is they have a slightly different mechanic than the other energy weapons as well. For hardpoint consumption, they're treated as an energy weapon. If you're using something like a command console, or if you have a clan mech with a targeting computer, they affect the range of energy weapons and the speed of projectiles. The game mechanic behind a PPC is that when it shoots, it's treated like a ballistic. So it would affect the projectile speed in that case. So keep that in mind that you won't get a range extension, you get a speed buff. So just something different there. So let's shoot that ER PPC. And what we'll see is it does almost the same thing. Now shoot his arm off and go to the other one. Shoots a bolt of lightning, did some damage. What's different about the ER PPC is, of course, the range, as I mentioned, and the fact it generates way more heat. So keep that in mind. PPCs are hot to use in the first place, and ER PPCs are even hotter. They're in fact 50% hotter than regular PPCs. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the final factor of PPCs is I'm going to move up just a little bit. As you can see, I'm at 105 meters, showing you that on my screen at the next 105 meters. His arm, I must be aimed at his elbow, is my target. My targeting information is telling me it's 106 meters. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up to 90 meters. Alrighty. This is a dead zone for PPCs. As you can see, it's still green, so it's a little bit misleading. If you're inside 90 meters, a PPC won't do any damage. An ER PPC will, but let's shoot him with a PPC and see what happens. We'll aim at that arm, and we'll give him a shot. Quite a lot of stuff happened. The weapon went off, it showed the hit animation. If I was playing against a player, he would have gotten the noise and the shake, but I've done no damage. And as you can see, oh, it did eventually turn black there. I didn't notice that right away. Let's see if I can back out a little bit. So it takes it a moment to update. So yeah, just keep that in mind, because yeah, it takes it a second to update. So as you're aiming, keep an eye on how far away your target is. If he's within 90 meters, do not shoot him with the PPC. You won't do any damage, but you will build up heat. So that's how the PPCs work. Let's take a look at the lasers. It's pretty much a beam of light, and it damages your target by heating it. So what we'll do is we'll show you the ER large laser first. The ER on the large laser means extended range. You can see the range on that. The maximum effective range is 675 meters, and the regular large laser is 450 meters. The difference between the ER large laser and the large laser is, of course, the range, and the ER large laser produces more heat. So something to keep in mind with lasers is they have a burn time and they do their damage over time. So I'm going to shoot that ER large laser, and that's how long it takes me to do the full amount of damage that an ER large laser can do. And if we shoot the regular large laser, looks identical. They are identical except for the ER large laser, more heat, and better range. Something to keep in mind with lasers is that you can paint your target with the beam. So if this guy was moving around real fast and was having trouble targeting him, so I'm going to simulate that by jerking around, what I could do is I'm going to shoot my medium laser now, and see I can drag it across him, and see I damage everything on it. So keep that in mind with lasers, is if you want to do the full amount of damage to a specific location, you have to hold that beam on them the whole time. So that's how lasers work. Let's just shoot the medium laser again so you can see how that works. Shorter beam duration. And then of course, here is our small laser. Large lasers do the most damage, and small lasers do the least amount of damage. I'm not going to get into the specifics of how much damage they do. They do frequently change damage and heat to tweak the game and provide balanced stuff. So I don't want this video to get too dated, so I'm just going to say that large lasers do the most damage, small lasers do the least damage. And then what we have for other energy weapons is the flamer. I'm going to move up on him just a bit more to make sure I'm hitting him. And how the flamer works is it takes plasma from your mech's fusion reactor and sprays it on the enemy mech. So it's a little flamethrower. These are not real effective at doing damage. What they're really good at is heating up your opponent and melting internal components. As you can see, his chest was already opened up. Let's point at his leg here. And you see I'm starting to do a little bit of damage, but not a lot. But it's melting out the any critical slots he'd have in there. So that's how a flamer works, and be careful with those, because if you're starting to run hot, I'm just standing here shooting it, so it's not really a good demonstration of what happened in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire those PPCs a couple times and get some heat going. Alright, now if I start using that flamer, oh, I've still got enough heat to deal with it. Let's see if I move around a little bit if I can get that to heat up. Nope, I can't. So what will happen sometimes is that flamer will heat you up as well as your enemy. So keep an eye on your heat scale as you're using that flamer, because you can overheat yourself with it. There is a cap on enemy mechs that if you're shooting with the flamer, you can heat them up to 90% heat, and then you can't heat them up anymore. It's to prevent you from stun locking your opponent. So keep that in mind. You can heat them up, but if you want them to shut down from overheating, they're going to have to shoot or do something to cause more heat to get them over that shutdown threshold. And then the final thing I've got on here that's an energy weapon is a tag laser. And what that does is it provides bonuses when you're shooting LRMs. It's an energy weapon though, so I thought I'd put it on the energy weapon test. And all you have to do is point that at the back and fire it. Now you can see he's got a little square with a plus in it over his triangle now, so I'll turn that off. See, that square goes away, and then I'll point to him again. And that's an indicator that lets everybody on your team know, and everybody on his team know, that he's being tagged. So this will provide a bonus to any friendly missiles on any mech, yours or an ally's mech, to home in on this mech. So that's been a look at the energy weapons that are equipped on this particular mech. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out and grab my Boar's Head Atlas real quick, because I've equipped the rest of the energy weapons on him. And this is also a good time to show you, if you're unaware, of how to use the testing grounds. So if I come down here and I select my Boar's Head Atlas, and then go to the Home tab, there's testing grounds, and I'm going to pick Forest Colony, hit OK, and I'll drop into Forest Colony right where I was, and I'll have that commando back at full health. This is a good way to test out your mech's performance, so I do highly recommend that you go out here and try it when you're building your mech. So what I've got on this Atlas is I've got a PPC and a medium laser, but I have the 3 pulse lasers in this mech as well. And pulse lasers are another laser family weapon, and what they do is they fire pulses of lasers. They're heavier and hotter than regular lasers, but they have a shorter fire duration. So if that target acquired got over top of me, the pulse lasers have a shorter fire duration. So what you're trading is range and heat and weight for a little bit shorter burn time, so you'll get more of the laser on target. And let's put those on chain fire, and we'll start with the large pulse laser here. And if I try to paint him, I won't be as effective. So see, the pulse is much shorter, so it's harder for me to spray laser fire across him. But that means that more of my lasers getting on target. If I were to just say the name on him, I'd get more laser on target in less time. So that is a difference. A lot of players say that pulse lasers are garbage, don't use them. It depends. If you are finding that your particular mech is not getting enough laser fire on your opponents, because let's say you're in the light, you might want to try using pulse lasers to see if that helps you out. So let's take a look here. Here is the large pulse laser, and we'll shoot. We'll get several pulses of laser energy. That's to be some damage. And then the medium pulse laser. And those other are pretty small. I'm going to fire that large pulse laser again, and we'll get our medium pulse laser. And we'll show you the burn difference here. I'm going to fire my medium laser and the medium pulse laser at the same time. And you'll see the difference in the burn time. See, that medium laser burns quite a bit longer. And the recycle time, that orange bar, so if I fire another weapon, see that orange bar fills up and starts coming down. So we'll fire them both again, and you can see that the oops, that's the wrong one. You'll see that the medium pulse laser has a much faster recycle time as well. So that's been a different look at how these weapons work, how they're different, and I would like to give you a bit of advice. The small and medium pulse lasers are probably not the best to replace a medium or small laser, but I do like the large pulse laser. A lot of people say they're garbage. I disagree with this. They do more damage than a PPC. They weigh the same, and they also produce less heat. The only difference is that you're trading the burst. So if I fire my throw my PPC back on here. If I fire my PPC, that's all pinpoint damage right there. Well, not any damage in this case, because I'm within 90 meters. But if I fire that medium pulse laser, or that large pulse laser, let's set him up to fire by himself. I'm doing a little bit more damage. I am doing it over time. I do have to worry about,
target destroyed.
Oops, we want to destroy him. I am doing that damage over time, so let's
target
get this
acquired.
cicada. We'll go after the cicada now. I am doing that over time, and I do have the I might miss, but as you can see with those pulses, even if I do get a little bit where I'm not intending, I'm aiming at that right leg. Even if I get a little bit where I don't intend, I'm doing most of it where I want to. And if I'm using my PPC, that does actually less damage. Oh, I hit his leg that time, but if he's moving and I'm moving and we're dancing, oh, I missed him. I don't have the opportunity to get any of that damage on him. But if I'm doing that with this guy, see, I can drag that across him. Just a few extra seconds. So I do like that large pulse laser for that reason. I use them frequently. Um, I think they're a good weapon system. I know there's a lot of players that'll tell you that they're bad and you're bad if you use them. I disagree. I have torn up a lot of people using those who immediately start yelling that I'm doing something inappropriate, like hacking or aimbotting or something, because I'm using medium pulse lasers and they're bad. Just wanted to point that out for our new players that those large pulse lasers are a good alternative. If I had a large laser on here and I was spraying around like that, if I was doing this with a large laser, I wouldn't get a lot of damage on him, but with this large pulse laser, I'm getting a lot of damage on him still. So that's been a look at the weapons that are available for Inner Sphere mechs that are energy weapons. Just wanted to give new players out there an opportunity to see them in action and how they might like to use them. Tried to give you a little advice, but please put different things on your mech and try it out. Use what fits your playstyle. That's the most important advice I can give you. If you're using a bunch of small pulse lasers and having good success with it, that's great. It fits your playstyle. That's what's most important. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be looking at the different weapon systems available to the Inner Sphere mechs over the next few videos that I do. Thanks for watching. Have success on the battlefield, and I hope to see you there. Thanks a lot.